Don't be putting all that in about what I said about Eminem and that.
No.
You'll actually do, yeah? Get at me.
No.
I'll send
I haven't
you.
started. I've pressed record, but I cut all this out afterwards. Welcome to episode 10 of the IE Media podcast. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening on one of the many audio apps out there. I appreciate it. So, back on the show today, I have my good friend Robbie, and he was on episode 2 for those who are new to the show, but this is now episode 10, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome him back. And we're going to be updating you on the events we've been involved with behind the scenes and going forward. So, straight in, Robbie, welcome back, man.
Mate, seriously, I just want to say once again, yeah, thank you very much for having me down as a guest. Yeah?
More than welcome.
10 months have passed since I was last here, right? That was episode 2, yeah? To know that you're on episode 10 now and watching the way things have been going, it's been a breath of fresh air, and I'm privileged to be back, yeah? So the focus of this show for me is to talk about my book, yeah? From the streets to the stage, right?
Oh,
so
there we go.
Long story short, ironically, I came up with the idea to write a short film over 10 years ago called Drugs Will Get You Killed. And it was to highlight the dangers of gang culture, knife crime, and drugs. Specifically getting drugs on credit and what can happen, you know, as a knock-on effect, yeah? And I was originally going to run it with a youth project that I set up over 10 years ago called Instalment Media, which was predominantly working with young rappers and MCs who were heavily influenced by antisocial behaviour, and instead of them getting involved in it, they'd rap about it. So we got together with a couple of us and came up with ideas for a screenplay, a script, to make a short film. But with that kind of content, it was always a case of, should we do this? Could it give the wrong message? And we never actually got round to it because, 1, it would have cost us a lot of money. 2, funding was restricted. And 3, I thought, no, leave it for a while. It's going to be bigger over time.
Yeah.
So fast forward 10 years down the line, which is a lot to fast forward, I came up with the idea of, you know what, the notes that I've got, the material that I've got, the music that I'm involved with, the artists that I work with, I could actually turn this into a book. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once I got everything together, I came up with the idea of the book would be a crime fiction, touching on stories that are relatable based on the original idea of what would have been a film. Yeah. Now, originally, like I say, the film was going to be called Drugs Will Get You Killed. The title for me was a bit too controversial, so the book is about an aspiring gangster rapper who's trying to find himself into the industry, and he's heavily influenced through his younger years with the drug dealing and gangsters in the area. So he would always write stories and raps about what he would see in his area. Now, the area I changed the name of for the artistic licensing, and I came up with the name Holy Hell. Yeah. Now, if you're from Bolton, which is where I'm from, you would know there's a certain area when you read the story that's relatable to that name.
Yeah.
So without getting too complicated, the character starts off the story by getting involved with drug dealers. He gets drugs on credit, and ends up going on somebody else's patch. Gets robbed, right? And then taxed. And it's a case of, how does he go about getting the stuff back? Does he get it back? How does he go further with his original aim as an artist? Yeah? Well, let's just say from the get-go, from as soon as he seeks help from his friends who are controversial, they end up going down a route to, shall we say, get the stuff back.
Yeah. Without
giving too much away.
Yeah, people need to read it for themselves as well.
There's a track what I wrote called Getting a Tick, which is named after the first chapter.
Yeah.
Now,
that's the track you performed on here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
a verse of it that you performed on here. You finished it since.
To touch on it, I watched a film called Blue Story with Rapman, right? And Rapman's style is storyteller. Now, when I looked at the way that he did that, I thought, you know what? I've released a book. Right? I could actually do something similar.
Yeah.
Without copying him, take inspiration from, and see how it goes. Because, I mean, for those who don't know me, I'm an MC in the hardcore scene and to drum and bass as well. But I've always loved hip-hop, yeah? So I stepped away from the hardcore scene and the drum and bass scene for a while to focus on this project, right? Now, when I actually put pen to paper and made this track called Getting a Tick, I realised that what I'd done was summarise chapter 1 in a lyrical level, right?
Yeah.
And I put it out there for people to listen to before they actually read the book, right? Now, in order for me to get the track out there, I went to my good friend Dollars, yeah, to record the lyrics, yeah? And I said to him, how can I actually get my track out there to a wider audience on platforms like Spotify, iTunes? I said, I'm not a massive believer in you needing to do that because I haven't got a massive following as such, you know. He said, you use a distribution company called DistroKid, right? Now, DistroKid, I think you pay $16.99 for a year where you can put your music on unlimited music on all the major platforms for a year.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it, right? And once the book was released through Amazon, yeah, it got to the point where people were starting to pay attention to it because of me being an MC.
Yeah.
They were like, yo, this book, what you wrote is sick. Yeah, we can't get enough of it. You know, we're going to buy it. We're going to support you. Have you got any music to go with it? Because obviously it's an urban-based story. So I said, yep, check out DistroKid, check out my links. You know, there's a free version on YouTube or you can pay 99p, right? Now, what I did was I went down the old school route of inboxing people a week before it dropped and said, I can send you a copy of this track now before it comes out.
Yeah.
Either for free, yeah, or 99p. Right now, within half an hour of putting that update and sending the message to over 100 people, I had about 60 people message saying, yo, I'll give you £2. Yo, I'll give you £1. Yo, I'll give you 50p. And I was like, right, this is like a license to print money.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, right, okay, so the musical element of it got me motivated. The concepts of the track got me motivated. And I started to get more into the idea of, right, how can I bring the character, young Jimmy, to life? Keeping it focused around the book, but in real life. I'm going to set up events. Okay? Now, for me, it was a case of, what do I call the event? Because I wanted to keep in sync with the book.
Of course, yeah.
So I spoke to yourself. I spoke to MC Dukins, one of my good friends from Bonanza, who I will talk a little bit more about soon.
Definitely.
And basically, I came up with the idea of keep it real. So the name of the book is From the Streets to the Stage. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, or direct from myself. Yeah. I thought, you know what? Call the events From the Streets to the Stage.
Yeah.
Giving the opportunities for grassroots-based artists, those who've never had experience of performing live, to those who have, to established artists, to headline artists, from local to regional. And the reason I came up with the idea was to, you know, mark a milestone with the books, because how when I was last on here, and I think it was February,
March, end of February, yeah.
I'd literally just released the book. And I think at that point I'd sold about 5 copies, which I was buzzing off, right? I was thinking, what? You've achieved something here.
And how many is it now?
Over 200.
Wow.
Right? Now, here's the thing. In September this year, I got in touch with The York, a pub called The York in Bolton. One of my good friends, James Unsworth, a.k.a. Unzi, who I call the soundest guy in the Northwest, because he runs Northwest Sound Hire. He said to me, Robbie, feel free to come here, right? You've got the stage, you've got the lights, you've got the venue, everything you need, yeah? He said, we'll fully support you. You can even start, you know, promoting your book in here. And I was like, the penny's dropped. So then I got onto pure artists that I know, right? From Bolton, Manchester, Liverpool, all over the place. Spoke to yourself, you know, saying, I really need a DJ to help us kick this off.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do it? You know? And when you said, yeah, and I can bring all the equipment down, you know, I know you from years ago, from the D&B scene and, you know, the jungle scene, being a producer, being a DJ, to never actually hearing you on hip-hop and vice versa, right? So when
we had plenty of jams back in the Scouse House days as well,
bro, yeah, from the bounce side of things,
back on the
vinyl. Yeah. So to then get to the York, and when we set up everything, and it got popping off, and we brought the 4 artists through, you know, to support us, who perform like 3 or 4 tracks each.
Yeah.
I got told that throughout the whole of the evening, we got just short of 80 people there.
Yeah.
Right now, of that night, I gave out 4 books.
Yeah.
Right, and the people who I gave them to posted pictures of them on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and that helped influence more sales. So, along with the music and the events, I started thinking, do you know what, right? There's got to be more to this.
Yeah.
I need something where I can keep it central. I'm going to make a website. I've never actually built a website before, but I spoke to the artist who created the artwork for the cover of my book, Nathan DeLuce, Don DeLuce on Twitch, and basically I said to him, I need to set up a website.
Yeah.
How do I go about doing it? My budget's not that big, you know, as cheap as possible. Now, he's a whiz kid with SEO and, you know, search engine optimization, this side of things. So he told me about Google Sites. You know, he said it's mainly more of the building a portfolio side of things. He said, but it'd be a good way for you to start getting an understanding.
Yeah.
Right? So over the space of about 2 weeks, I put everything together that I'd built up over the last 8 months. And I thought, you know what? I've got the basics of the website. So now I'm just going to fill it in with everything that I've got. Bought the domain, and I was struggling to publish it. So that's when I got onto my good friend, Telstar, who's involved in websites, development, maintenance on a big scale. And he did me what you call a solid. He did me a good favour and taught me through how to literally publish things, right?
Yeah.
And imagine this, for the life of me, we were spending about an hour going over the link, the domain, and it kept coming up saying error. Yeah. So we did like a little FaceTime, and I gave him access to the info. And imagine this, when I was like, it's not going to happen, is it? He went, we'll go back to it tomorrow. 20 minutes later, gets a message, check this website link. Boom, it's there.
All right.
www.fromthestreetstothestage.com.
Awesome.
Right? Now, seeing that, for me, is like it's like a dream come true. Right?
Yeah. And you've been showing me the work you've been doing on that stuff.
Right.
It looks really good. And I appreciate your shout out to myself as well.
Bro, I always have and always will credit where credit's due. Do you know what I'm saying? I did say that we'd try and keep the podcast to about half an hour, but I can talk a glass eyeball to sleep, right?
Oh, people like it anyway. So.
Now, going back to the journey.
Yeah.
So I've got the website, I've got the videos, we're doing the events. It's built up a buzz. In the midst of the build-up, it hit a point where it was trending, right? And I was thinking, right, this is going off, yeah? And I was like, there's something missing, yeah? It's all over social media. I'm walking through town and people are like, yo, big ups on the book, yeah? I met a guy called Zach. He studies research and development, neuropsychology, I think that's what it is. And he wrote a review.
Okay.
Because he picked a copy of the book up from the York.
Wow.
And he wrote an in-depth review, which is available to see on the review section, the media section of the website, yeah? When he basically said that I've read the book and the way that it's written, it's kind of like an Ill Manners meets Immortal Technique theme.
Awesome.
You go on a journey with the main character, and when certain characters come in, you can feel the tension, name related. So there's a character called Chaos. When chaos comes, chaos ensues. When Sinister's there, it's a sinister vibe. And I was like, the way this, he said, I could really see this book becoming a film or a TV show.
Definitely. I told you.
Now imagine this, bro. Yeah, I'm in New York on a Sunday afternoon, meeting up with a young DJ who was on about putting events on there. And Zach walked in. We didn't know each other, but we just started chatting about random. And he went, I've read this book called From the Streets to the Stage. Yeah, I'm looking to meet Robbie. And I was like, yeah,
that's
me.
Mine.
So we got chatting, exchanged numbers. And, you know, this guy, he writes assignments in depth, you know.
Okay.
And when he writes in depth, he's got a good way of analysing theatre, music and things like that as part of his courses.
Yeah.
And he said, I've come up with a concept for you. I don't know if you would be interested, but I think we could take this to theatre.
Yeah.
To take it from the streets to the stage.
Literally.
Right? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Not being fully ready, not being fully aware of how that works, yeah? I was like, yeah, let's do this. But then when we saw what was involved in it, right, we both took a backseater. Do you know what I'm saying? Saying, give it a couple of years before we even think about doing that side of things. Let people digest what's going on. There's still more to this on the marketing level. It's not even been a year. And I put a list together saying, right, I'm going to self-publish a book, test the water with it, see what the reach is like, get it all over social media, then to the local radio, podcasts, to the local press. And everything that I wrote down on a list was happening. You understand what I mean? And it was like, right.
Starting to manifest.
Yeah, right. And it was almost as if the content of the book, right, was like a blueprint manifestation, because what happens in the book has happened in real life. Yeah. Over the last 10 months.
So could you just explain to the viewers, listeners, that young Jimmy, some would say, is that about yourself, or is it a mixture of different characters and things you've seen maybe and experiences?
That's an interesting question, right? Yeah. I will be brutally honest, right?
Without incriminating yourself.
Yes, a lot is about myself in my younger years. The more controversial elements of the story aren't.
Okay.
I can't give too much away without you reading it.
Yeah.
But if you go on the bio or the description part on Amazon, you can read at least the first chapter, right? Listen to the track, Getting a Tick, right? And you'll be able to draw from that it's about many different people.
Of course.
It's from articles that I've read in the paper, people who I've spoken to, you know, associated with, affiliated with. I changed names of people to protect identities.
Of course, libel reasons as well.
Right, but also kept it real with an entertainment value. Yeah. Complicated, but it's been done. So when people have said to me now, who know me from Bolton, this is about you, I had to go all cringy at first, and it's not. Yeah. And then people, but I remember such and such a thing, and I'm like, all right, fair enough, yeah, but that was back then. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But to know that you can have had a past. Yeah. And you can either go true talking, real stories, yeah, or you can, for entertainment purposes, you can class it as fiction.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
What people, of the 210, I think it is, that are out there now, yeah, what a high majority of people are saying is it's relatable, yeah. They've found themselves in the story, right? They can visually be with certain characters, yeah? And it's surprising how people will pick up on that, you know, and think, is it about the main writer?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, well, to a certain degree, yeah. But it's also about a lot of other people, you know?
Of course. Yeah. That's good. I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
I mean, it's like throughout the sort of like around July, I a mentor of mine called Dave Morgan Live from Worktown. He has a show on Bolton FM called Side Door, or The Side Door. And they interview people about the arts and culture in Bolton, heritage-wise. When he inboxed me and said, I want to do a little interview with you about the story and not touch so much on the, I think what was the way he put it now, the whack, bang, boom, or the action, the gritty. He said, we want to know about culture, about you, what's drove you to do this, yeah? And I found it hard to step away from the content of the book, going on mainstream radio, commercial radio, knowing that a high majority of the listeners were in the 60s.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful with how you say it, you know. And around about that time, get this for a twist. I started working at Bolton Lads and Girls Club in the studio, working with young people about knife crime, right? Which is a strong focus in the book. Yeah. There's incidents where somebody loses their life through a knife incident. And it couldn't have happened at a more bizarre time. I started going to community church with my son. And I met a lady there who works for Bolton Lads and Girls Club. And she invited me to come down, you know, to apply for a job as a youth worker. Yeah. But I said, as much as I love working as a youth worker, I want to come in more creatively. So they said, well, there's a job where you come in as a youth worker, but you'll end up working in a studio. Now imagine this. You get into this multi-million-pound state-of-the-art facility called Infinity, right? And in the studio, it's all decked out with everything you've ever needed. So when I was running my project back in the day, and I used to have to spend night after night after night writing funding applications to get low-budget stuff, I'd just tell them what I wanted, and within a week, it's there. iMacs to drum kits to guitars, everything, bro. Wow. And the kids that I were working with in there, they were all about, yo, I've heard you wrote a book. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, well, where can we get it? I'm like, you can't. Because a lot of these kids were like under 18.
Of course, yeah.
So another element about the book is I advertise it as 18 plus. Yeah. But because it's on Kindle, right, I had kids age 15 coming up to me saying, bro, that book is sick. I've heard your track. And it's like, right, are you making any music videos? I want to be in one. And I'm like, no way. So I guess what I'm saying, it's in the last 10 months, it's been busy. It's been a learning curve and a journey. But a lot of what I've done, and I must put a special shout out to my good man, he's like a brother to me, George Roberts, yeah? This guy went out on the streets to sell and promote the book. Wow. Right? Awesome. Well, I was doing advertising campaigns using all social media platforms. He was actually out on the streets to people, you know, going to the shops, going to the gangs, going to Manchester, going to Bolton, Salford, places like that. He was, as they say in America, in the trenches. Yeah. While I'm in my apartment, he's out there doing it. Yeah. And he helped influence the sales in a big way, you know. And I made him, and we had an agreement because of the hard work that he was putting into it. I wanted to give him a position within the journey. So I made him the chief executive of the street team. Oh, wow. Cool. Because I believe that everybody that supports you along the way deserves that recognition. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? And we've had chats about making additional tracks, you know, and him being in the film as one of the characters. And I'm like, you know, what I'm looking at here, if I do go down the route of making a film or a TV series, would be to work with a mix of my friends, those who've supported, those who've helped get the word out there, plus established actors. Yeah. But how will we do that? I don't know. I looked at quite a few like actors who tried to get themselves out there, and they do crowdfunding, you know? Yeah. I look at people like Billy Bunter, who released a book, and he's a famous DJ, right, in the hardcore rave scene, and he released a book earlier this year called The Love Dove Generation, right? And he smashed it, mate. But when somebody read this, I think they're involved in the film industry, they contacted him and said, look, this could be turned into a film.
Yeah.
You know, would you be interested in doing it? And from what I've been following on Facebook and his social media, he's literally going down a comedy spin-off with a edgy twist.
Okay.
With this film company, and I think through the sales of his books to a bit of crowdfunding, they're now in the process of making a film.
Oh, cool.
His story in itself is phenomenal to follow, for real, you know. And I got to say, it was an absolute pleasure hosting his set with MC Dukins at the last Bonanza in Blackpool.
Yeah, big ups, man. I've seen the videos.
To actually MC for somebody who's legendary like that was big. Milestone. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to meet him, like, back in the day, it would have been like, yes, mate, big respect to you. It's blessed to actually get on your set. But now to be able to go up to him and say, from one author to another,
yeah, here's
a copy of my book. Can't wait to read yours. Yeah. And then to get on the mic and actually do my thing with him was a good vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to summarise, it's been busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of positives. You can find more out on the website. Yeah, www.fromthestreetstothestage.com.
Okay.
You can find kind of like ways where I'm going, or you can keep in touch with the more social element through Facebook, Instagram, and
even TikTok as well, no?
TikTok, yeah. I've not sussed it all out, you know, but big shout going out to Paul Howard, aka Ginge, who runs Spectrum Promotions, a big drum and bass organisation in Bolton. He kindly built us a 1-minute video for the next From the Streets to the Stage event.
Yeah, wicked, yeah.
And because he is literally took a step back away from the being so hands-on, and he's now going into the promotion side, social media promo. And as soon as he saw like what I was doing, he was like, yeah, I can give you a hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And imagine this, after having a little chat here and there, he sent me a video clip with this Mobb Deep backing track.
Yeah, perfect track,
right?
As well.
And he's got the lineup that was coming on, you know. And I thought, this is brilliant.
And the DJs, I was like,
DJs,
keep seeing my name on these things. I'm like, yeah, things are happening.
To see that, and also a big shout going out to Kelly Holt as well. My son's football team's coach's wife. Yeah. She saw that I made my first attempt of a flyer. I'll never do that ever again, by the way. And she took it upon herself to make me a little promo video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is for Streets to the Stage.
From the Streets to the Stage Part 2.
Yeah. Which is, you can explain more and maybe show the flyer as well.
So what I'm going to do here, right, you can see the lineup from the first event and some video clips on Instagram, on my Robbie MC page, or the Facebook page, From the Streets to the Stage, on the website as well. There's links to it, yeah?
Yeah.
But the next event that we're doing, right, because I've now sold over 200 copies, right? I'm keeping the events on a free basis.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got an agreement, haven't we? You're the resident DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big ups to yourself on that one, my brother.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough, yeah. What we've got here now is 2 DJs, right? 2 DJs, yeah.
Yep.
Jay Curdy, Drunken Monk, there's a story attached, yeah? He literally gave me my break in the hardcore scene back in 2007. Yeah.
Right.
When he was running Missing in Manchester with DJ Clipper. Give me the opportunity to get on the mic. Yeah.
Cool.
And that helped me get recognised. Yeah. So long story short, I said to him, if I do anything, I'm going to get you involved in it. And he's agreed to come down and kind of headline the event.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got Dollar, Nitrous, Heats, Robotic, E-Villa and L Tribe. They're from Warrington. And they're part of a group called Fortune Recordings.
Yeah.
E-Villa and Robotic supporting Devlin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, this Tuesday. So these guys don't mess about, do you know what I'm saying? Conscious Poet.
Yeah.
I met him through yourself. AK. He's from Uganda. Yeah.
Oh, right.
He literally has approached me via inbox and said, you know, I would really like to come down and showcase what I do, but please, if you can, just listen to my music. The guy's got literally hundreds of tracks unreleased.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And he's from Uganda. And after talking to him, I seen that he's very humble and respectful, and he's very polite, yeah? And his material, I won't say it stood out more than anybody's, right? But him as a character,
yeah,
I've taken to with regards to his manner, yeah? Now, for me, he's a mixture of a poetic, prophetic, his words, yeah? And a spoken word artist meets hip-hop. So on the night, you're going to hear spoken word, rap, and he's coming down with a young kid who's, I think, 14, and they're blowing up. They're getting like 60,000 views on their music, and they're into like trap and drill.
Oh, okay.
And even though that's not my kind of thing, it's, for me, it's important to give the younger generation an opportunity. I'm putting them on early so it doesn't affect licensing or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. But also as well, I want to say a big shout going out to PJM, one of the other rappers who's going to be coming performing for the first time, Phil Mansfield. This guy stands out because he believes in himself in terms of he's putting professional music videos together. He works with the singer from a Euro dance group called Capella. She's the lead vocalist.
Okay.
Yeah? And they're very established in the dance music industry.
Yeah.
And he recently made a track on, I think he released it on Spotify, or he made a track with Vicky, the singer. And for me to see that the way he's pushing himself, I thought, this guy's got something. But the ironic thing is, Jay Curdy is also MC Curdy, and now he's Capella's frontman, main MC.
Okay.
So now we've got them two, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like two people in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
It's going to be sick, bro.
It's going to be good.
And also as well, Illuminatics.
Yeah.
Right? My man, from way back, as far as I can remember, yeah? I can't release his name because he wants to be elusive, yeah?
Yeah.
Not like you get me? He wants to remain under that name.
Yeah.
And turn up on the night. And those who are from the area in the hip-hop industry, if you know, you know, will know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can safely say then that there's two ill DJs.
Boom, right. This is what I'm saying, yeah. Right? So seriously, yeah.
And that's not bigging myself up. That's elusive and Illuminatics.
So now I've spoken about from the streets to the stage, what's been going on there, yeah. You know, thank you once again for having me down, you know, for this side of things.
It was a pleasure.
I also want to touch on, as I was speaking before, MC Dukins, yeah? I call my G.O.D. the guardian of my destiny, yeah?
Yeah.
He runs a local promotional music event called Bonanza Raves, right?
Which you've kindly got me on board with.
Exactly, so. Right, yeah.
Thank you.
Basically, it's the 12th birthday coming up in December, yeah?
Yeah.
The day before our event, 17th of December.
We've got a busy weekend.
Bonanza goes the 12th birthday, the Mad Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mad Friday.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah, look at the lineup. Who was I talking about
Billy
before?
Bunner.
Right, oh, look at that, yeah. And
look, elusive exposure.
Yeah, we've got a mixture here of local, regional, further afield artists, and it's at the Zombie Shack in Manchester, right next to Oxford Road train station, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, the vibe in the place is going to be all about the hardcore, happy hardcore, power stomp, drum and bass.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because for years...
And you're hosting my set, aren't you?
This is the thing, yeah. For years, we were kind of fixed around hardcore, happy hardcore, power stomp. And occasionally, Dukins, Joe, would say, let's put a jungle set on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And you'd get like a hardcore DJ mashing it up with jungle. And the take to it from the ravers was like, they love it, yeah? And I said, look, see the vibe, how it works, yeah? Let's put D&B into the mix of what we promote. So then we brought in DJ Toll. My man, DJ Toll, who I made a track with called Drop the Knife, Value Life. Now, if you love your D&B as well as yourself, yeah, give him a follow on Spotify, DJ Toll.
He made some good tracks. I checked him out.
And I won't say anything to the people watching, but it's my plan to get you two working together at some point.
All right, okay, cool, man.
But seriously, right, there's so many who I could put big ups to. Like, for instance, as well, who I didn't last time, because I had that much to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to say a big respect to DJ Spinblitz from Renegade Radio, right? Spin Man, as Duke calls him, he's a very influential DJ, right? Host who runs his own radio shows Mondays and Wednesdays, right? And he has myself and Dukins down to do shows as the first official MCs. For years, this guy was going where it was strictly just DJing.
Yeah.
You know, and he was doing a good thing. And then one of my friends who knows him from back in the day said, Rob, get onto him. See if you could go down and do a little spot here and there. So I went down, and then I took Dukins down, and literally the rest is history. Renegade Radio is run by French DJ called Champion Puffer. Yeah.
All right.
And a lady called Livy. Now that's www.renegaderadio.com. You can literally check the website out. They have drum and bass, hardcore, hardstyle, grime, hip-hop, you name it. It's all commercial as well, right? And at first I used to think it was from London. You know what I mean? So we're putting big shout-outs to the, London postcodes and dial codes and things like that, the 0121 and things like that. Yeah. Only to realise it was in French. Do you know what I mean? So these guys fully support everything we do. You know what I mean? There's that many people who I could put shout-outs to, you know, but to put thanks to everybody, I just say everybody who supports, everybody who performs, everybody who gets involved with the events, you know, without you guys, it won't happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was thinking before, from the streets to the stage, like your sort of brand going forward. It's more of a community now, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Collective.
Yeah, 100%. The term is a collective eclective.
Oh, okay.
You like that, isn't it? Right?
yeah.
Where we're bringing together multi genres, and we're bringing together artists that we've worked with for years, you know, and we're evolving together. We've all gone on the journey because everybody's got a story, right?
Yeah.
But what better way than to combine it together?
Definitely.
And not just have one event, but two, and support one another.
And work together, and like we were saying in the car driving down here, I can interview the artists. Yeah. Come in and...
Because going forward, I think it's important. Like this is podcast number 10.
Yeah.
Right. Once again, bro, big up yourself, yeah. Because in 8 months, you've been pretty much doing a podcast a month.
On average, yeah. There's been a couple of months where I've like not done one for 2 months, and then I've done 2 in a month.
Exactly.
But it's just hard. Yeah.
You've kept it consistent. You've got your work life, you've got your life itself, and then you've got this what you've got to try and fit around.
Yeah.
It's like we were saying as well, isn't it? The first year is your foundation. It's the learning curve. And you get like, you can get critical on yourself saying, is it going to work? Is it worth investing all this time? And why am I not getting as many views as I thought? Is it going to go off? What's going to go wrong? How can I make this work? And then you're like, as you're spending money and time and you're building yourself up, you know, you've got your work life, your home life, your family, and then you're trying to keep micromanaging everything. It can become so head stressing where you can be like, right, is it worth it?
Yeah.
But then when you start to see, you've done 1, you've achieved something. You've done 2, you're on a roll. You've done 3, I'm comfy. Now you've done 10.
Yeah.
It's like second nature, right? Like when we first started, we were backwards and forwards with questions, what we're going to say.
Yeah.
Now it's just like 2 mates chatting.
Definitely.
Right? And it's like with the book side of things. I never even expected to sell one. Because for the life of me, when I first wrote it, I was sending it to people, the first chapter. And Joe Carter, one of my true inspirations, mentors, and Ash Kirkman, who's a published author, was giving me pointers between them, saying, this is how you do the publishing. And Joe was saying, right, your draft is really good, but it lacks sensual awareness. We're seeing everything. You're taking us on the journey. But imagine us being in India or Sri Lanka, because this is worldwide.
Yeah.
They don't understand your description of what you can see. You have to come up with the elements of senses. What does it taste like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
And when I was suddenly starting to learn all this, I was thinking, right, you know what? I'm going to go for it, you know? And literally to be able to go from the beginning foundation of it to then just going for it.
Yeah.
And as soon as that clicked, the understanding, the rest then just became assertive. I know what I'm doing. And I believed in myself that I was going to sell more.
Yeah. And you did.
And it's surprising, right? Yeah. It's like, that's the key. Believe in yourself and you can achieve.
100%. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And what I found, I don't know about yourself, but I found that the more you do, the more proactive you are in every single angle as an independent, the more you're inspiring people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the more people, without you realising, you might think, I'm not getting no views.
Yeah.
The listeners aren't up. Yeah. I'm doing all this work and it's not coming back. But then you bump into people on the street and they're like, right, I've seen what you've been doing. Can't keep up with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like to see something work. As an independent, you're always striving to want to turn yourself, your business, into a brand.
Yeah.
So that you can then become at a point where you can take people on, give them a paid job. You can help support artists.
Yeah.
Other independents, which brings me to my final point. Yeah. So I've got the book on paperback, on Kindle, signed copies from myself, events, involved in the podcast with yourself.
Yeah.
Linking in with artists that I've worked with over the years and new talent, the promo side of things, right? But for me, apart from the website, there's one final touch. Yeah. The trick up my sleeve that I was procrastinating with. In other words, getting agitated within myself, saying there's something missing to make this a full project completed. And then it dropped, the idea. Clothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. So, oops. Yeah. I've spoken to a local graphic design animator called Kenny Space Ager, who I have worked with over the years. Paul Howard, Ginge from Spectrum, big ups for the link on Facebook. I should have thought about it because I've known him for years. I spoke to him last weekend. That was Sunday in November. I said to him, look, I've got these ideas on paper. Could you possibly help me do something with them? This is the rough drawing. I'm not the best at drawing, but you are. So could you possibly help me?
Yeah.
Bring this to life, add a little final touch on it. And, let's see what the take on it is. And you know what he said?
Well,
it'd be a buzz to do it with you. So without further ado, wait till December the 17th at From the Streets to the Stage, event number 2, when I'm on with Elusive Exposure.
Yeah.
And I showcase this T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, that's going to be the cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And last week, I put a shout out on Facebook saying, I'm looking for a graphic design artist to help me bring an idea what I've got on paper to life. Graphic designers, get at me. Bro, within 5 minutes, it escalated quickly.
List of names and
over 50 people from America, Australia.
Wow.
HipHop. I said it's got to be hip-hop theme. Yeah, they were all just constantly messaging me, emailing me. So when I share this video, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who showed interest in the post. Yeah,
yeah.
I have got back to a couple of you, but I also stated on the post that I'd found somebody. I said I'll keep that post on my wall for future reference in case anybody else sees it and may need a graphic design artist.
Of course.
I can't say I'll work with everybody, but rest assured, I do check people's links. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because once again, people have took the time out to share their work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's only right. Share it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it, man. You're doing it. So, guys, if you've been enjoying this so far, thank you for tuning in. Whether you're listening to this on one of the many audio platforms, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just to name a few, or whether you're watching this on YouTube, you can find the video versions of these podcasts on YouTube and my other types of content. So your support is always greatly appreciated. So it's been really good.
As always, bro, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. And guys, we are going to do a little bit of a mix promo for our events coming up. So if you want to see that, I'll link it, put a caption in there, and you can click on that and see that. Obviously, it won't be in this one due to copyright issues on the audio apps, but it'll be kind of a part B, won't it, to what we're doing here.
Can I just do one thing as well, yeah? Yeah, big shout going out to my mum for watching Caden, my son, on this. Well, I'd come and do this again, yeah. Them two sat and watched the first one with us, and the smiles on both the faces was unbelievable.
Oh.
Yeah. Big shout going out to my son, K, Lil K, the kid. Yeah, you'll probably tell me it ain't that light, but KJ, the kid, yeah. Big up yourself, little man. Get off Fortnite.
Yeah, true words there. These kids in these games. I'm just as bad sometimes, but it's not enough hours in the day, is there, to do everything you want to do?
I know.
Let alone game. So I've been having a little go at that Warzone. It's just come out, free game there on Steam.
Don't even go there. I just got a PS5, yeah, and I'm on God of War.
All right.
Oh, my days. I am heavily, agitatedly addicted already.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good. It's good to have something to distract yourself from when you're constantly working.
Yeah, when you're constantly working and you've got a creative brain as well. Yeah. So when you're not working, or even when you are working, you're thinking of ideas and projects and stuff. Sometimes by the time I get home, I've got a bit of burnout. Yep. So my mind's been going all day, different things.
That's what I'm like now. Yeah, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say stress or pressure, because we don't get stress or pressure off what we love. But I think it's because we've been so on the go recently.
Of course.
You know,
it's good to have something to take that focus off. Yeah, so you forget all that noise and just.
But in a sense as well, it's going from digital of promoting online on a phone, events, music, digital, to then switching off from that to digital on a screen playing a game. Yeah, this is why I believe that, you know, getting involved in nature, meditation, and just going for little walks helps. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And reading books
100%, 100%.
Especially from the streets to the stage.
Exactly, yeah. From the streets to the stage, yeah.
Nice plug.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah.
The one, the only.
Yeah, sick, man. And I'm sure there'll be many more addendums to that, won't there, coming out? Getting deeper into the characters that we see in the book as well, I reckon. To be continued, but I've already wrote the plot for the next one, but that's another podcast. Oh, wow. Cool. Yep. That is awesome. So, guys, I want to thank you all again for tuning in. Don't forget that me and Robbie are doing I'm doing a debut set with Bonanza. Robbie's going to back me up, host it with MCing. That's going to be on Friday, the 16th of December at the Zombie Shack in Manchester City Centre, somewhere. It's near Oxford Road. It's actually on Oxford Road, outside Oxford Road train station. It's above the Thirsty Scholar. Okay. Yeah. The pub, straight bang outside, underneath the arches, next to the student union or student facilities. Cool. Yep. So get yourselves down there. We're on a little bit early, 7 till 8, but that's just because we've got so much to do the next day with the Saturday gig, a much earlier start. So I'm really looking forward to it, mate, seriously, because your music is off the scale, you know, in terms of production. You know, the vibe that you bring, it's like it's nice and dark and deep, but it's also got the energy. Yeah. And it's a pleasure to host and spit some bars to. So cool, together, cool. It's been on the cards for a while, innit? You know what I mean? Definitely. Let's make history. And on that note, guys, I think that's the end of the podcast. Until next time, Robbie, thanks for coming. One more thing, shout going out to all the artists that are going to be on the Bonanza and the From the Streets to the Stage event, for anybody who would like to see and hear what's going on, follow us all on Facebook, Bonanza Raves, and also From the Streets to the Stage, #FTSTTS. Boom. Boom. Awesome. This has been IE Media, episode 10. See you all on the next one.